It's me, Renee. This is a Get Shit Read the Readathon wrap up. Or if you if you didn't know what that was about, it was a readathon that happened during the whole of January. So it doubles as my January wrap up. So yeah, this is that. Moment, forgot something. Had to check the prompts and I found them. So yeah. So the books I read were quite a few. Some of them were library books, as normal, as usual, which I've returned to a library. One of them was the audiobook, Heretics Anonymous. I just did a book talk on it. I'll link it in the blue. I'll probably post this first, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, and that was a book talk. So just if you want to hear my thoughts, just wait for that one. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go as normal, just any old order. I don't really care which order it is. So I have Jernvogn of Donereadathon. It's a Norwegian book. As you can see, I thought it was a Norwegian crime classic, and then I read on the cover, on the back of it, that it's supposed to be horror. At that point, I put it down. I don't like horrors. I like action, but I don't like when it's straight up meant to scare you, like scary. And also, I didn't like it that much, so yeah, I DNF this one. So yeah, first DNF, one of the first DNF of the year. Hey, I'm not gonna feel ashamed. I'm not gonna use my time on books I don't like. I'm not. No, I'm not. So that's that. And then we have Hitman Anders and his friends, or Mord Anders och hans vänner, by Jonas Jonasson. It's the author behind The 100-Year-Old Man Who Went Out of the Window and Disappeared. It's a Swedish author. Nowadays people mostly talk about Fredrik Backman, but he was like the OG Fredrik Backman. He came first. I liked The 100-Year-Old Man Who Went Out of the Window and Disappeared. I listened to an audiobook a few years ago. I enjoyed it. I also saw the movie. I liked that one. This one, I didn't like that much. So I DNF'd it. I read like a few chapters and I wasn't all that into it. So yeah, that's the second DNF of the year. So yeah, there were a few DNF this month, really. Well, this last month. Then we have not a DNF, which is Best Foot Forward by Adam Hills. This doesn't really fit any of the prompts, which all the books doesn't really have to fit the prompts. But yeah. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say. This one, well, both of these have been on my TBR for a while. So one of the prompts is to read a book that's been been on your unread pile for a while, or the longest, or for a while. These ones, I bought this last year, and I managed to read it last year. Didn't happen at all. This one is actually my parents', but I kind of wanted to read it for a while. I wanted to read like more classics and crime, so I thought I could try this one out. Been thinking about reading for a while, but yeah. So they both fit that prompt really. They've both been like on my radar, and like I want to read it for a while. So yeah, I had planned to read another book that's been in my TBR for a long time. Didn't do it. So yeah, but these ones were originally on my November, I think November or December TBR. So yeah, they've been on my TBR for a little while. So it's good I got them and you made a decision about them really, which I think at least. So yeah, Best Foot Forward by Adam Hills. So Adam Hills is mostly famous for The Last Leg. You might also know him from his stand-up. He's both a stand-up comedian and a talk show host. Talk show? Yeah, it's a talk show. The Last Leg is a talk show that talks about the news of the week, but it's also the flavor of it. Like there's lots of lots of TV shows that talks about the news. Colbert, you have John Oliver, etc., etc. Jon Stewart. Well, you had Jon Stewart. The thing with Adam Hills is that he's disabled. Well, he's not disabled. Well, this is a bit hard. He has one of his legs. He was born with a leg that was just cut off at his knee, so he has a artificial leg. But he like just all the things that all normal people do. Like he can function normally. Not that disabled people don't function. Oh my god. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, so he talks about how people with being disabled should still get money and be treated good and all that stuff. So, of course, but like he has that background, so he picks on that in the news. He's also Australian, so he has the outsider aspect. So it's him, it's Alex Cross, someone, and Josh Widdicombe, who's on the TV show The Last Leg. And every week they have guests, of course. I'll link some of the things that I really like in a dooboo from Last Leg. And Adam Hills usually does really fun rants, like very good, but also very intelligent rants on Last Leg. They're so good. And yeah, honestly, The Last Legs, most of the time they put a lot of it on YouTube. So you should really check it out. It's really good. So this is his biography. He wrote it in 2018. 18, sorry. Sneaked in some Norwegian there. So I had this on my radar for like just so it was coming out. I bought it. I got it from December for Christmas. Sorry, mouth words. But yeah, honestly, didn't love it, didn't hate it. It was good, but even though like this was awful autobiography, like Adam Hills wrote it himself about himself. And I've read like some biographies before. The ones I didn't like were biographies that are written about other people. They didn't write them themselves. And the ones I loved were like autobiographies, like Graham Norton's. It was really good. David Mitchell's was really good. Sarah Pascal's really good. This one wasn't that good. I'm not sure if it's his life or his writing style. I think it's more his writing style because the things that was happening in the book was interesting, but just felt like it didn't really have pizzazz. It was just I don't know. So I'm thinking probably will unhold this because I don't really think I'll read it again. Really. Yeah, and include in addition to not having pizzazz, there was lots of references that I didn't get, and that made me kind of sad. I suppose I could check them out and stuff, but like, there's always gonna be stuff you don't get. But like, if there's lots of references you don't get in a book or a movie or something, you kind of feel like stuff just goes over your head, and you kind of lose a bit of the experience. So yeah. So I suppose this one we recommend if you're Adam Hills fan, if you're Australian, and if you know lots about Australians. Australian comedians and Australian and sports people, because there was a lot of mention of sports people, sports people, and also comedians in Australia, which a lot of them I didn't know about. So yeah. So if you like that, check it out. If not, don't. And then we have a book that's also been on my TBR for a little while, and it's also no, it doesn't fit one of the other prompts. Okay, I'll just say it now. The prompts for readathon were read a classic, read a book that's been on your TBR for a long time or the longest, start a series or end a series. I think that was it. Maybe there was one more. I'll check it out after a while. But anyway, so this book, The Places I Cried in Public by Holly Bourne. You can't see it at all. Sorry. You know what? Ha! Ha! I'm smart! Now you can see it. Just forgot about the sun, and like, I'm not usually the sun, so like, yeah, no, you can work with the sun. But yeah, so I meant to read this for December. I didn't get to it in December. I did end up reading it in January, because it's here in this video. Did a body read for it. And yeah, I've read all the other Holy Born books, so I kind of expected it's different than what I got. This one, honestly, was very hard-hitting. So if you're in a mood for something hard-hitting, choose this one. If not, don't go for it. Like, normally Holy Born's books are they have dark themes, but there are lots of jokes in them, and they're done in a light way. Like, it's very digestible. This one, yeah, after reading it, I kind of felt like I'm needing a hug. Like, my God, some of the stuff in this, my God, it was borderline sexual rape. It was relationship. Well, the whole book is about a boyfriend that's abusive. So yeah, very hard hitting, very hard hitting. And she loses her friends and stuff. And yeah, I suppose it's kind of spoilery, but not really, because you know from the beginning, like, it has 2 point of views. It's both before and the after. So it starts with like the after, and then you see slowly what happened. And yeah, I don't know. I gave this, I think, maybe 3 stars because it was good. It just wasn't for me. Then we have actually books that fit our prompts, which is The Darker Still and The Twisted Tragedy of Natalie. Sorry. We have Darker Still and Twisted Tragedy of Natalie Stewart. These are the first 2 books in a series. So one of the prompts is start a series or end a series. I had planned to read all of this series in January. I read these 2, as you see. I never got around to finishing the last book. I started, came like 2 chapters in, and then I wasn't really in the mood for it anymore. So I'll probably read that in February or something. I'm not sure, but yeah. So these 2 actually were both rereads for me. I read this years ago. Really enjoyed it. Still enjoyed it this time around. What's it about? It's about a kind of gothic idea, really. It's about this girl, protagonist, who's being mute for like most of her life, but it's chosen mutism. Like, she can't speak because she spoke when she was a kid, but she's just too stressed to speak. Like, her doctors just say like she'll speak in the future. Just wait, just wait. So she learns sign language, but her dad doesn't. So she can communicate while writing and stuff. And yeah. But then there's also this aspect of how her dad is an art dealer, and they discover a picture where there's a lord actually, who's cursed inside a picture. He's trapped inside the picture. And then she can actually go inside the picture and visit him, but he can't go outside. And then, yeah, there's this whole thing around that. So it's a romance. It's kind of gothic because it's like a demon forced him inside the picture. So it has some scary elements there to it. You know what? Yeah, just so much. But yeah, lots of romance and sorry, also historical aspects. It takes place in 1800s. Oops. So yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, I would really recommend this book for you. And then I read this the same weekend. I also did the 24-hour Sous readathon, which I did these 2 for. I'll link that in doobly-doo. And yeah, I read this one a few hours after I finished this one. It's second book. This was also a reread, but honestly, while reading it, I didn't remember anything. Usually when I reread stuff, I start to read and oh yeah, this thing I remember, this thing I remember. This one, didn't remember anything of it. So, kind of weird. I suppose kind of is because, honestly, I thought the first book was much better. Much better. This one, stuff happened in it. interesting, but wasn't all that interesting. So yeah, I suppose that's kind of why I'm hesitating finishing the series, even though these are two books I've read. I want to finish the series because I want to see how it all turns out. Well, I kind of assume it's gonna happily ever after. So far it has, and I don't think it's one of those where it ends tragically. But yeah, this one wasn't all that really. And then we have The Secret Chapter by Genevieve Cogman. This one has also been my TBR from last year. I actually used January, like the name of readathon is Get Shit Done. So I used it as a excuse to read lots of books that I had meant to read in November, December last year. So I just read them now. Get to them now, really. You know what? I made tea. Oh, actually, it's lemon slices and ginger and a bit of sugar. Because, smart. Because a friend of mine recommended it. Because my throat is still not perfect. And it's really tasty. I'm not sure how good it's working, but it's tasty. So yeah. But yeah, back to the wrap up. So The Secret Chapter. It's actually the 6th book in the series. Yeah, the series is getting long now. This is actually an adult steampunk series. So if you like steampunk, if you like adult books, check this one out. And you might think adult, so it's a lot of swearing, it's a lot of sex. There's sex now and then, but not that much, and not in every book, really. So if you don't love the romance, you won't get romance in all the books. So yeah. Yeah, and also this one actually had heists in it, which was quite fun. It also has dragons and fays and different creatures like that. So that's really interesting and fun. And yeah, all in all, really, really enjoyed this book. So good. All the stars! Check it out. Definitely check it out. And then we have, yeah, okay. Sorry. I think I said this before, but I'll just say it again. Over Christmas, over New Year's, I went to a friend of mine's and spent the first week or like the first few days of this year with them. So I celebrated New Year's with them and stuff. And then I borrowed this. Sorry. And then I borrowed this book from her, which is Crown of Feathers by Nikki Pau Preto. It came out last year, and it's Mulan-ish. It's not very, but it's kind of Mulan-ish retelling. So it's a girl who wants to go to a school for dragon riders, but they don't accept girls anymore. So she pretends to be a boy, and there's also prophecies, and there's several timelines. Well, not several timelines, but there's lots of talk about the past, and there's well, I was supposed to say something that's spoilery, but yeah, it's high fantasy and very intriguing. And being like, oh, there's a lot of stuff happening, but then soon you get used to it, and I'm like, it's so good. So yeah, it's so good. The sequel is coming out in February, I think, January. It's coming out this year anyway. And yeah, this one was one of the first books I read this year. Highly, highly enjoyed it. It's around 500 pages. I actually read it like one day because a long train ride. And yeah, so good. So good. Definitely recommend it. And yeah, it's the first in the series. So actually, yeah, that fits our prompt. Forgot. But it does. It does. Actually, oops. So actually, a lot of what? It's raining outside, but it's also very sunny. So weird. Okay, yeah. Now it's getting lots of bad. Yeah, smart. Yeah, this video is gonna be me with lots of bad lights, but I didn't really realize. So now, this is good. This is good. So yeah, I actually ended up reading lots of comic books in the beginning of this year slash month. Oh, not this, last month. I wanted to read other books. I had, as you see, lots of books from some books from TBR didn't make my wrap up because I decided to change some stuff up. But yeah, I just kind of felt like reading something, but I wasn't in the mood to read something big. And I bought some comic books in December for December, and I didn't read in December. So yeah, these next few books reads are audio comic books. So I read Rat Queens by Curtis J. Vide and Rock Upchurch. Rock Upchurch. Fun name. It's the first one in the series. Ha! Actually, kind of lots of prompts are actually first in the series. Didn't think of that, but yeah. And it's also, it has LGBTQ plus. It has lesbians in it. Well, it could be bisexual. I'm not sure, but at least lesbians. And they're different ethnicities, and yeah, it's very fun. It's actually a bit gory here and there, like a bit bloody, even though it's not a movie, it's a comic book. So I actually had to skip like a few frames because, my God, it looked a bit creepy. But for the most part, it's really good. I actually bought the next few in the series on Tuesday because I love it so much. So yeah, this is my new favorite series, really. Lots of fun, uh, lots of great characters, lots of fun humor, and the plot is very good. And yeah, I would really recommend this one. And also the words, the art. It's nice. I suppose it's not amazing, but it's nice art. It is. It is. So that was a very nice reading experience, I would say. Then I read Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. I had planned to read this. Well, I wanted to read this in the fall. I didn't get to it, so yeah, I read it in January. So I suppose most people have heard about what it's about, so I'll just skip that and say how I liked it. I really liked it. I did feel maybe it's just me obsessing, but I felt like I lost something because I'm not American. I felt like maybe a lot of the things they talk about are very American. Like I felt maybe ish like Stars Hollow feel. Like I felt like a lot of this stuff could happen in the Stars Hollow, but like in Norway, when October is, it's usually too cold to have like lots of outdoor activities. And here it looked like they went outdoor in like dresses and stuff. Like, what? Aren't you cold? So then we're like, what? That's unrealistic. Went on in my head. But yeah, but I really enjoyed this book. I really liked it. I suppose I was about to say I like a movie or it, but I suppose usually, at least for me, usually I say I like movies or books because I want to see how the characters act and see them and like stuff. I suppose you could just draw them and stuff, colors and stuff, but yeah. But like here, you have already the visual stuff. So I suppose I didn't need a movie, but I think a movie would be nice. It would be cool. And then we have, sorry, Princeless by Jeremy Whitley, and M. Goodwin. It's the first in the series. I've heard a bit about it. Well, I suppose not. I was about to say obviously. It's not obviously. You can pick stuff out totally random as well. But yeah, I've heard about this from different places on the books net. So it's supposed to be fairy tales or like adventure stories where the princess doesn't the princess saves herself, which is very much how this is based around. Like all her sisters are put in different towers, and princess are the the princess, several princes, like prince, not prince. This is confusing. The men are supposed to like save them, to like follow the follow the trope and stuff. But here, one of the princesses decides, no, you know what? I want to go to adventures myself. So it's very fun in that aspect, and I like the art in it. honestly, like the book, like the story and the narration of it kind of felt like childish. So I think like if I read it when I was 8 or 9, I would love it. But being 28, that's my kind of thinking. It's good. I might continue it, but I didn't love it. So I'm thinking I'm a bit too old for it. I think it fits very, very much for kids, really. I would say I'm a bit out of the age range, I would think. So I'm not sure. So yeah, and yeah, that's the three comic books I read. I also did read some audiobooks and some what's the word, library books. I read Heretics Anonymous by Katie Henry. I did book talk, which is coming up soon. I think this next week. I'll put it up so you can see my thoughts in that. Just stay tuned for that. I read 30 Days, 30 Dates, 30 Days by Christina Bradley. It's a library book. It's a romance, and it was fine. It wasn't awful, it wasn't good, so I gave it 3 stars. Just 3 like mediocre stars, not 3 huge, strong stars. And then I also read Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams. It's been described as Bridget Jones for a new generation. Just really curious about that. Honestly, it wasn't that funny. Bridget Jones, I think, like humor. This one wasn't that funny. It gave a good, words. It gave a good insight into the life of Jamaican British people and the Caribbean British people. So you see like how it is to be black in US. No, sorry, in UK. So that was fun aspects. And for a lot of this, China wasn't that likable, but it wasn't a bad book. But I can't say I love it. It was like, if you're into that sort, I would say it was actually quite hard hitting. I was expecting more of a lighter book, but it was more hard hitting. So yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Wait a moment. Gonna have some tea. So yeah, I actually had planned. Well, I actually started also. I read 12 Nights by William Shakespeare. I suppose that would count as a classic. Well, I read it. I read like maybe I read 10% of it, and I skimmed the rest. I think because I've already seen what's the I've already seen She's the Man, which is a retelling of it, so I already knew what a lot of stuff was going on. So I was kind of bored, and also like I read it, I liked it, but I thought very soon like I was thinking this will work much better as audiobook, or as a play, which is what it's meant to be. I felt kind of weird reading a play, like man walks to the other side of stage, and then like, oh, already. I feel like lots of the dialogue would fit much more for a play, for actors on a play, which I know it's what it's meant to be. But like, I don't know. I felt like it was kind of wrong to read it because it's a play. It's not supposed to be read. It's supposed to be played. It's supposed to be performed. So yeah, I didn't have that. I had planned, as I said before, to read more Shakespeare. I read Hamlet and A Midnight Summer's Dream, both for school. I enjoyed Midnight Summer's Dream very much. Hamlet, like, no, not at all. But I suppose with those two, because it was for school, the teachers told us all very much about like background and stuff, and they helped us understand it more and stuff. So that was, yeah. But reading the play myself, it didn't really feel right. It just, yeah, I didn't really like it. So I'm thinking, actually, I might read retellings of William Shakespeare's plays, but I don't think I want to read the plays themselves, because for me it'll just be wrong. I suppose some people recommended me like Beginner's Guide to Shakespeare, which I might check out. But yeah, do you have any Shakespeare tips? Give them to me, please, because I like the idea of Shakespeare. I suppose because I love A Midnight Summer's Dream. I'm thinking I like more of his stories, but it's like more of the play in itself. Like, yeah, I'm not really digging that. I'm not. I'm not. So yeah, and I also read Tyrant's Tomb by Rick Riordan. It's the fourth book in the Apollo series. Sorry, that one I really enjoyed. I think maybe I give 4 stars. I suppose Rick Riordan he's always, for me at least, good or great. This one was more like good, not that great, but it was good. And yeah, that one I actually donated to charity because I bought the hardcover, and because the hardcover is so huge and chunky, it's long, it's big. I just thought, yeah. As I said before, I prefer paperbacks. So like, I might buy a hardcover now and then. But for most part, my bookshelves are consist of paperbacks. That's what it mainly is. Sorry, that's what it mainly is. So yeah, um, so yeah, I gave that one to charity, so you won't see it here on my shelves. And then I read like a few pages of another library book, which is called Names. Oh yeah, I didn't mention it. Oh, Goodreads, because I just read so few books, so few pages. It was called something like 2 weeks, like she had to get pregnant in 2 weeks, because or else her body would stop her, like she would be too old, something. Honestly, I was just not impressed, so I just DNF'd it for like 2 or 3 pages. So yeah. So I suppose January included three DNFs and lots of good reading experiences, both fantasy and not. And yeah, I would say it was a really good month. I read lots, actually read 19 books, so yeah, can't complain. I actually also read, yeah, actually added some books that I didn't mean to add, so it's kind of fun to spice up a bit. And yeah, I really enjoyed this readathon. I hope you do it again. I'll link all the opposite, I was about to say participations. No, that would be hard. I'll link all the creators in the doobly-doo. And this is me saying Renee out.